something the best forgotten. Over the years, I've struggled with mentorship. When I got into the workforce as a young Kenyan with an extremely thick accent and second-guessing every single step, decision, or thought process that I had, I was told, get a mentor. I think it will be helpful. How do I get a mentor? Do I approach them? Do they approach me? When I approach them, what do we talk about? How do we plan these conversations? Are they even meaningful? So you meet the first time and you ask 10 questions and they give you structured answers, and then you come again and ask 5 more questions and they give you more structured answers. Then what? At what point is it too much? At what point is it too little? How much effort do I put in? How much effort do they put in? And every time I tried to get into a mentorship relationship, it felt like a job. It felt like something I had to work extremely hard at. And I am inclined to be naturally lazy, so that did not work very well for me. And I started thinking back to growing up. Who were the most impactful mentors in my life? When I was little, 5 years old, we went to school by bus. Our school was about 25, 30 miles from my house. So we woke up at 5 o'clock, 3 kids, the oldest being 11, I was about 5 or 6. And we'd wake up at 5, shower, dress, go to school. We'd walk about 20 minutes, get into the bus stop, get in the bus, and then ride the ride to school. For me, it was an occasion to jubilate. I'm an adult. I am grown. I can go get into a bus without my mother and ride to school and do the same thing in the evening. Now, we took this walk to the bus stop and took the ride with my oldest brother, who's 6 years older than me. And in growing up and thinking back now, all the acts of kindness that I have learned and all the thoughts of considering others, I learned from him. Not because James took the time to teach me, but because he was very purposeful in the things he did. Example, when we got in the bus at 5:45 or 6 o'clock, the bus was generally empty, maybe about 10 people. You're all sitting. By the time this bus gets to the city center, it is a sight to behold. There will be adults squeezing in, everyone pushing and pulling. There will be people literally hanging off the bus. Whatever piece of your body you can get in or on the bus to get you to the city center, you take it. So you would find that there'd be people who are literally hanging off the bus. You're holding with one hand, the edge of your foot is on the end of the rail, and if it takes a sharp bend, you just might fall off and you'll run and jump on and hold off again. The traffic laws were not stringent, no one really cared. Everyone was just trying to get to work. As we got into this bus and it's all empty, we took a seat next to the window. I want to watch as the trees go by and as the city rolls in and that bright morning sun so that we can get to school by 7 o'clock. Within the second stop or the third stop, the bus would be full. And I would notice that my older brother, when it got full, if a pregnant woman walked in and the bus was full, he always gave his seat. If he gave his seat, then for me it meant pregnant women get seats. So if I was sitting and another woman walked in and she's pregnant, then I'd be like, hey, you can have my seat. And over time I realized, oh, they don't have to be pregnant, they just need to be an adult. If it's someone older than him, not a young adult, but generally someone in their, at the time, 40 felt extremely old. So it would be someone maybe in their 40s or 50s and they walked into the bus and the bus was full. James gave up his seat. So I learned to give up my seat too. That's what you do when an adult gets into the bus. And I realized over time as I gave up my seat, James would always tell the adult that I gave up my seat to, she will not stand in the aisle and push and pull with everyone else. She will stand next to you. So she's giving you her seat, But you will have to sit uncomfortable so that she stands there and she doesn't have to deal with the crowd. And from that, I learned that you protect your children. It was not something that I thought about, that was cognizant. I just realized that every time I did that, James insisted that I stood there. And as I grew up and became that adult at 11 years old, if a kid got into the bus, I pulled them and I made them stand there so that they don't deal with the push and pull on the aisle of the bus. Was James cognizantly teaching me this? No. But did I observe and pick up habits and cues of kindness? Yes. My boss today, Nicole, is probably the single best boss I have ever had. I got into real estate 2 years ago without a single understanding of how to read a lease. Over the 2 years, I have handled deals, negotiated deals, sold properties, and today I can talk about real estate from a very, very strong and knowledgeable place. Because when I ask her a question, she answers my question and she teaches me anything else that may be in that realm that I may not know because I do not have the background that she does. In the 2 years that I have worked for her, I have not only grown, I have not only learned, but I have also realized that teaching and coaching and helping someone else grow is probably the best gift and the biggest gift you can ever give to someone. Now, we all go through this life. You know, we won't have to be very famous. We may never get placards in our name. We may never get parades in our honor. But in every single opportunity we have, with or without our knowledge, we are teaching someone. We are expressing some knowledge to someone else, and someone is observing and picking that up. Make that meaningful, because you never know the value of that smile, that handshake, that touch that someone truly needs.